heard, not knowing the scriptures.
That's like Matthew 22:30. Started right here. Shalom, Akim.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we're going to give all praises and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to those who let Akim that speaks the word in all truth and sincerity. So for the Hebrew Israelites here, the prophesy America's downfall, which America, according to the Bible, is Babylon the Great, or the daughter of Babylon. You know, Esau, Edom, you know, it's so-called white man, so-called white man is Esau, Edom, according to the Bible, you know, and the MOTB, which is a charagma, which is an implantable device that will go in either hands or your forehead, is the least of Esau New World Order, you know, and we out here week in, week out, starting with our apostle, Elder Millstone, to tell you Israelites not to take it, you know, and I just see the entire lesson, you know, be not tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine, man. You know, because there's a lot of, you know, heresies going on in Israel. You know, saying that if you eat meat, you go burn to hell. You know, what else?
Committing adultery.
You know,
revenge.
Yep.
Using drugs.
Yep.
All right, Moses. He was going. Basically, Moses was going off because he listened to Jethro. You know, and all these other doctrines, we're finding, verse 14, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine.
Yeah, because we're supposed to be well-rooted in what we believe in, man. We're supposed to be well-rooted in the truth, you know, well-rooted in the word, in Yahweh Shai, man. Because a child is tossed to and fro in everything, and they believe everything that the adults tell them, man. You know, but not us. The scriptures say the simple believe of every word. So we examine the scriptures, see whether those things were true or not, man, according to the Acts 17 chapter with the Church of Berea. You know?
By the sleight of man.
And the reason why we're going to words, you know, because this is the manner that our apostle Elder Great Millstone taught us, to be scholarly, you know, to go into the words to get a better understanding of it, into the Hebrew and the Greek.
Through etymologies and definitions.
Yep.
The word "slight" goes back to the Greek, right? The kodia is dice playing. The metaphor, the deception of men. The dice players sometimes cheated and defrauded their fellow players.
Yeah, trick dice.
Yep. Yeah. So it's that deceitful, right?
Yep.
So because there's a lot of deceitful Israelites of the circumcision that's preaching false doctrine for their belly, man.
Yeah.
You know.
No, because a lot of these guys is paid. They bought and paid for.
Yeah.
And they're set up by, you know, wicked individuals to come out to lay stumbling blocks.
Yeah. Right.
Because this truth is going worldwide, you know, and there's a mass awakening. You know, there's different articles. You know, Vocab Malone, he had a video that was posted that said, you know, there's over I want to say 20 million Hebrew Israelites, and that's of one tribe, Judah. You know, so this truth is gaining momentum, it's gaining steam. You know, and even with our short time in the ministry, we've been here for about 5 years. And it went to nobody not knowing this to Judah, Shalom, y'all want to see me outside, Rakatah. You know, people honking their horns on some shallow wine, women, you know. So in our short time, we've seen a transition, you know. But the point is the sleight of man, because they gonna use the scriptures and sensationalism and these different tactics that, you know, journalists use, you know, just to spark, you know, emotion in people.
That's right.
You know?
And the carnal mind gonna have them doing stuff like making merchandise out of this awakening. You know what I'm saying?
Merchandise.
Clothing, you know what I'm saying?
And like,
you know, our heritage is gonna become fashion statements.
Right. And like the apostles say, this truth is not about gimmicks. You're not gonna gather the elect by gimmicks, man. It's, you gather the elect by the word of the Holy One, as the scriptures say, man. You know?
Let me hit it from the top real quick. Ephesians 4 and 14, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie and wait to deceive.
Yeah. You know, which ultimately these camps that's deceiving, the Lord put the Spirit on them to deceive, man, because the Lord doesn't want every Israelite.
Yeah.
The Lord is only looking for the elect, man.
Yeah.
Can the brother bring out, after you finish that, can you bring out Ezekiel 14:9?
That's the spirit. I was thinking about that. Yeah. I was thinking about that. The spirit. 15. But speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Hamashiach.
So that's what we're supposed to do. Speak the truth, man. Speak the truth, everyone to his neighbor. You know, we're not here to, you know, preach our own will, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Nope.
Because the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. So that's the manner we're coming in, the spirit of prophecy, man.
Yeah.
And this is prophecy that some shall turn from the faith, you know, denying the Lord, man. You know, preaching false doctrine, preaching heresies, things that's not of the doctrine, man.
Yeah.
You know,
It still got a point here. It says, from whom the whole body, talking about the elect, fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplies.
yeah.
So we all supposed to come together in truth, all right, and on one accord. It says, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, make an increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. So to sum it up, we're supposed to all come together in the spirit, all right, bringing out the correct doctrine, rightly dividing the word in truth, all right, in Yahweh Shai, you know, because these other individuals that's coming out with these different doctrines and ways of life, you know, what that's doing is, instead of fitly compacting, meaning bringing the elect together, it's scattering. You know, you got some doctrines that's talking about the Sabbath is every Friday to Saturday sundown. Some doctrines speak about how the Passover is on the new moon and not the full moon. You know what I mean? That the MOTB is the image of Caesar Borgia. You know, all these different doctrines the Lord is putting out to actually, you know, cause drama in the ministry and cause individuals to get sifted out and stumble and fall, you know?
Yeah. And even for us, you know, because starting with our apostle, that was a great ministry, we write and divide the word of truth. We are set up to defend the gospel, man. That's right. You know, as Apostle Paul said, we defenders of the gospel. You know, so we defend the gospel by, you know, teaching what is right. If the scriptures talking about the apostles' doctrine, man, now everything has to link up with the scriptures according to the teaching of the apostles. You know?
This 2 Timothy 4 and 3, it says, for the time will come when they will not...
It's ears, meaning, you know, when Jake teach something, you know, they basically teach what people, how they teach.
What people want to hear. They want.
People want to hear what they...
itching ears,
individuals hear these doctrines from these bug out dudes and it resonate with them because that's what they want to hear.
Really?
You know, they want to hear women being involved and women coming to the camps and they got the sisters group. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go with them because my wife in the truth too, and she been asking me about, you know, fellowship with the women. So 9 times out of 10, that individual is gonna have itching ears or desire to hear from someone that speak his language.
It's like, and when they hear that doctrine that they want to hear, they're gonna gravitate to it. Right to it.
Yeah. Edomites can make it.
Oh shit, I like
You
that.
know,
Here we go.
9 times out of 10, his mom is probably an Edomite.
You know?
Or he grew up with Edomites.
Yeah.
You know, like that dog. That what's his name? Christian Ministries.
Damn.
Man, what is his name?
Damn.
Pastor Dow.
Pastor
Dow.
Yeah, Pastor Dow.
You know, you can tell he probably grew up with Edomites in his family, ran with Edomites. So, you know, that type of doctrine ain't gonna resonate with a guy like him.
It says, verse 4, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables.
Fables is lies, man. You know, talking about the Nephilim was these big ass beasts. You know, and then also, you know, you got Satan had sex with Eve. You know, and they reading all these books, which, you know, the elder Manatas Akbar went into, you know, the making of all these books, and how it's pseudepigrapha, which means fake writings. You know,
I got a point on that too, because brother brought out fables. If you go into the Strong's, the word for fables is mythos. You know, which is, you know, the root word of mythology. You know, and then you go into the definition, it means something created, an invention.
You know, some shit some people done made up.
Yeah, because all them writings of those people is not divinely inspired. Man.
I got one. 2 Peter 1:16. For we have not followed cunningly devised fables, but we made known unto you the power and coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai, were eyewitnesses of his majesty. It says, for we have not followed cunningly devised fables.
Yeah, so we have not followed the cunningly devised fables, man. You know, because it doesn't go with the scriptures. You know?
And the word devise goes back to the Greek so it says to invent, play, sophist, to devise cleverly or cunningly. So these fables that they're coming out with, if you don't eat chicken, I mean, if you eat meat, you're going to hell, or like the brother said, the Nephilim thing. These are actually things that are cunningly devised, basically thought up, you know, to further deceive the people.
And they also got supersessionism and replacement theology, which is basically one of the same. But you know, you got these individuals that come up to try to stir up confusion within the ministry with these damn doctrines, you know. But I got this here in Philippians chapter 1 verse 15. Some indeed preach Yahweh Shai even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. So it is written that you're gonna have people that's gonna preach, you know, for envy and strife, for contention. You know, you got individuals that come out, like our elders and apostles call them upstarts, where they come out, you know, their name is double-edged sword. And they specifically gear their whole ministry towards walking around cutting people.
Cutting Mormons.
You know, cutting Mormons, cutting Christians. You know, it's not about just sitting up cutting people, man. It's about teaching the truth. It's about the testimony of Yahweh Shai, which is the spirit of prophecy. Now, will you have to, you know, pull your spiritual sword out and get busy out here? Yeah. But we don't gear our ministry towards that. You got people that into debates. You know, they just want to sit down and debate and going back and forth with individuals.
Yeah, because it all ties down to vainglory, man. You know, it's all about how eloquent you speak and, you know, how good you break down the scriptures. The Lord ain't looking for that, man. Like you said, this truth is about Yahweh Shai. The testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. That's what it's all about, man. If I looked at that word upstart, it means a person who has risen suddenly to wealth or high position, especially one who behaves arrogantly, man.
Yeah, one that raised up to wealth. So you get these dudes that come in and all of a sudden they got this large following out of nowhere. In this world, that's looked at as wealth. Oh, I got, you know, 50,000 followers. I got 100,000 followers. You know, that right there can accumulate wealth, because if you got 100,000 followers on Instagram, you know, you can sell you know, like you can say, you know, I'll post your content, give me $250, I'll post your video. You rapping it or twerking it, whatever. You know? So, you know, you gotta watch these individuals that come up out of nowhere, and we get this information from our apostles, and we have seen it. They come up out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they get 40,000 views. Yeah. You know, they got 20,000 subscribers. You understand? You gotta watch dudes like that, man. Because first of all, the Most High ain't dealing with large numbers. Nope. You know, read the story of Gideon. You know, it was what, 20,000? Yep. Some odd Israelite men that was ready to go and fight against these Midianites. But the Lord said, I can't deliver all in with all them men. At least they think that by their own hands they delivered themselves. So the Lord cut it down to 300. So the Lord ain't dealing with no big group of men.
So this Romans 16-17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them.
Yep, and I will remark in the Greek is kopea, which means to watch or observe. So we observe all these other cats by we watch their videos to determine whether they're preaching sound doctrine and they're not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Then you watch these videos, these guys are sitting down, and behind them it's a whole library of all these damn books, you know? Yeah. Which we gonna get later, but the scripture speak about seek ye the Lord, seek ye out of the book of the Lord. You know?
And it says book, right?
Yeah.
It said as a singular.
Yeah, not no books.
That's all you need, man. You know?
Verse 18. For they that are such serve not our Lord Yahweh Shai, but their own belly.
Their own interests. You know, they come out with these you know, these bugged out doctrines, then they heap unto themselves disciples, and they heap unto to themselves these silly ass women, all on the comment board. Yeah, I know them GMS guys. They you know, they harsh. They ain't breaking down the scriptures right, and they talk about rape. So they heap onto themselves all these different people that have itching ears to what they bringing out, man.
And it says, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple.
Good, what's good words? Oh, all nations can make it. It's not just about the Israelites. To them.
Yeah.
You know, this is to them.
God loves everybody.
Edomites can make it.
Yeah.
You know, we're not in that time period.
That happened already.
You can take the dragon's piss. You know, and it came out that 20 people in the IUIC died of the C-19, man. Ooh. And like Apostle R said, is it because Nate was saying you can go ahead and take the juice?
And that alone should question the leadership, man. You know, that should cause you not to even follow anymore.
I got a piece of it.
That is scripture saying the son will believe every word, man.
The book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go thereat.
Yeah, so the straight gate means a position of difficulty, man. You know, taking rightly divide the word of truth in despite of you being hated, you know, because it's truth. But the Lord said, blessed are you when men shall revile you. You know, because that's the truth. When the scriptures the scriptures are being applied to your life, that means you're doing a great thing, man. And as opposed to you going off where people love you, the scriptures say, the Lord said, woe unto them that speak well of you, man. You know?
I want to make a point too, because it says enter ye into the straight gate, which straight, S-T-R-A-I-T, is a position of difficulty. And we see with these other doctrines, you know, they speak about you ain't got to go out on the highways and the byways, and you know you ain't got to teach and all this other madness. But the straight part of the truth is, look, you got to present your body a living sacrifice. You know, you got to come out on the highways and the byways, and you're expected to grow and abound. You know, you're expected to have a pattern of good works. You know. You are expected to feed the sheep and feed the lambs of Yahweh Bashar. So, you know, there's difficulty in it, and not difficulty meaning it's something hard to do, but difficulty meaning there's works that you gotta push out in order to be a servant of Yahweh Bashim Shah. This ain't because Christianity, is that a straight gate? Is that difficult? Oh, I just go to church when I feel like it. Oh, it's Easter. Okay, it's about that time to go.
All they say is Jesus love you. That's it.
Yeah, Jesus love you. That's it. You know?
Accept him as your savior.
Yeah.
That's pretty easy.
Yeah. Come as you are. That's not a straight gate.
Yeah, that's not
because Apostle Paul said, you know, that the spirit and the flesh lusted against one another. So that's a straight. That's being in a straight position right there.
Yeah.
You know, some days, you know, I mean, it's the spirit of Yahweh Shemon Shai that be doing the work, man. It's not of ourselves. But some days, you know, get that lazy demon.
Yeah.
That's why you pray to the Lord. You may watch a video, then a title spark in your lesson, man. That's the spirit of Yahweh Shemon Shai.
This one. All right, verse 14. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life.
Yeah, narrow path is very, very narrow. It's very straight, man. You know, but this is the only way. You know, as Yahweh Shai said, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the light. You know.
And few there be that find it.
Yeah, those few are the elect, man. You know, and Yahweh Shai was quoted from the Exodus, second Exodus, the 7th chapter. You know,
which ties in with the rest of the precepts. You know what I'm saying? When you put into the account the exclusivity of salvation, you know, it's going to be a 1/3 remnant. So that tells you that even in Israel, even among Jakes that know who they are as a nation, the truth is gonna lie with the unpopular people. All right, which as scriptures say, a prophet was not honored in his own country. So you know, that's like a further manifestation of where the truth really lies in, what the correct path is.
That's kind of like that steadfastness is part of the Most High's sifting, you know. I got a precept. It's James 1:21. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word which is able to save your souls.
Yeah, so you gotta be able to be as a child, as Yahweh Shai said. You know, a child is very humble, acceptable. You know, so. You know, that's how we got to be in the spirit, man. And it says naughtiness and superfluity, that's all the characteristics of this world, man. It's anti-Messiah world. You know, you being your self-will, being your own God. You know, you getting your own platform, doing your own thing, without worshiping Yahweh Shemon Shai. I gave you that. You know,
it's a good example of that. This podcast shit.
Yeah, podcast. Right?
Yeah. You know, them is people that's setting up and literally doing their own thing.
Yeah.
You know, not including Yahweh Shai at all.
Yeah.
You know, and all this shit that they talk about, women in relationships and shit. Man, these women is bugged out, man. Now, I want to finish this over here in Philippians, the 1st chapter. Philippians 1:15. Some indeed preach Yahweh Shai, even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. And see, that's where we come in at through the Spirit. Teach Yahweh Shai for goodwill because we speak about repent and believe the gospel. Alright? We speak about converting and worshiping the true power. We are set to warn our people of Jacob's trouble and to not, you know, take the MOTB. You know, we instruct our people through the Spirit to put off the evil works of darkness and come into the light, man. You know? Stand up and have integrity. Be a man. Grow your beard.
Yep.
You know, stand for something. Commit to something.
This is the way. Walk ye in it.
This is the way. Walk ye in it. So we teach Yahweh Shai for goodwill. You know, and then these other doctrines and these pop-up dudes that come out, it's always some type of contention or, you know, and then their doctrine, they don't have, it's not balanced. Yeah, we speak and get on other camps, but then we turn around and also do lessons on building up the sheep. You know,
and even when we do get on other camps, we're doing that to build up the sheep. That's edification.
Yeah,
because I didn't mean to cut you off. I was gonna say because they're usually coming off. They're usually going off. So because they're usually going off.
It says envy because some camps, some dudes envy the apostles, man. So how much wisdom they got in the breakdowns, how long they've been in the faith, the longevity. You know, they envy that, man.
As we just seen from that Sakari camp when they were trying to go off.
It says, the one preached Hamashiach of a contention, not sincerely, supposed to add affliction to my bonds. So They're teaching for contention, you know. And when they bring out these, you know, doctrines or their fruits, you know, that's another thing. The shit that they be showing, you know, the sheep.
Yup.
The Passover fashion show.
They got that new video. Why does carry wear guns?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You at camp strap.
You at camp and you got ammo
The whole
and
camp.
weapons and shit on you, man.
Bulletproof vests and shit.
They take it a step further, and on the website, I think it was Sakari, it says Hebrew with a gun on their clothing, man.
They literally getting the stumbling blocks and laying them down.
Yep, and stacking them. They stacking them.
Stacking stumbling blocks right in front of you.
But you would think they'd at least be the street. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? At least be the no, they're boom. Okay.
So that's how nigga culture is, bro. Everybody want to be seen. Everybody want to get that clout, man.
Seen
And,
and heard.
they get that same. They bring that same spirit and the truth, man.
Yeah. And then they got music and albums and mixtapes. You know, and then they had what was it? The Hebrew Israelite wrestling match?
Oh yeah, the wrestling match.
Wrestling match.
And rap
They out here
battles.
wrestling and shit, fighting one another, man.
Rap battles and
Rap
wrestling
battles and wrestling matches.
Car shows.
Car show, Hebrew Israelite car shows. Like that shit is worldly, man.
No, not to forget the newest one from IURC, that fashion show. You should see
Oh, the fashion
It
show
was
with
glorious,
the most
homie.
glorious garments,
It was
man.
glorious.
And a lot of those the
They
things-
literally look like the kings, man.
Yeah.
And if y'all notice, watch that fashion show, a lot of those garments that they had on had Masonic
Symbols.
had similar to like what the Masonics made. Like the dude that was wearing that big blue garment, he had basically a Masonic apron on.
Yep.
You know? So a lot of, and you know, I was telling one of the brothers, like, man, this gotta be some, Esau gotta have his hand in there or something.
Got you.
You know?
Now I don't know if this is true or not, but I know they garments got mixed fabrics in them.
Yeah.
And Nate had that picture of him holding one hand, the Ciroc 44 on one of the
Oh,
toys.
yep.
And Apostle Barber in front, he was like, Nate looked like, he like, y'all was sorry.
Women, and you know it's women in there married. You know in that congregation right there where Nate was walking, you know it's women that's married and betrothed, man, to other men. And they over there fanning out.
Right.
That's 1 Timothy 4:16. Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine. Continue in them. For in doing this, thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee.
So we set up to teach people. And it says take heed to thyself, meaning pay attention. You know? And to the doctrine. You know, because a lot of these guys, you know, they get tired of just teaching about Jacob's trouble. They get tired of just teaching about Yahushua, the famine, the pestilence, the MOTB. They get tired of that, man. You know? I'm getting tired of talking about the house of David. I'm getting tired about preaching about the remnant. I want to teach something more controversial. I want to be more deep. You know, I want to bring out the stuff the apostles don't bring out. You know? But not knowing that the elders and apostles, through the Spirit, they know how to feed the sheep. You know? They not putting big ass ribeye steaks in the
grill?
in the trough.
The trough.
Is it the trough? What's it called?
Kneading trough.
No, the kneading trough. That's to make the dough. You know the
trough.
It's a manger. That's what Yahushua.
It's
I think it is called a trough.
I think it is called a trough.
It's a trough where the animals go feed. Yeah, that's a trough.
Yeah. So, you know, the apostles ain't putting big ass T-bone steaks and ribeyes in
Sirloins
there,
up in there.
sirloin steaks, and you know, and all these way out different meats in the trough for the sheep to eat. They know how to build up the sheep. You know. And it's through repetition and it's through the simplicity of Yahushua. Do they throw meat in there here and there? Yes, they do. But then that disrupts, you know, that is, you know, disrupt certain things. You know, when apostles, you know, bring up rape, you know, certain things like that. That get these other people bugged out. But our apostles go into that subject because they're bringing out how if that to take place in the ancient world, we had law, statutes, and commandments to handle that. You know?
And the Most High put spirit on them to sift. So that make a whole bunch of men fall away.
I got a little more. Philippians 1 and 17. But the other of love, knowing that I am sent for the defense of the gospel. And that's what we doing. We out here defending the gospel. You know? Here the sheep got the potential of let me see the staff. One of the staff right there.
Oh, staff. Yeah, sorry.
So here it is, you know, a shepherd will have a staff, you know, and the staff was used to keep the sheep in order. You know, sheep maybe not, you know, walking in the path and maybe walking over there.
Walking astray.
You going astray. The shepherd will use a staff and hit the staff on the ass a little bit to get him over here.
Gear him right.
But like David said, the staff, the rod, and thy staff comfort me, which is the truth. So what the apostles is doing is smiting the sheep, you know, with the truth to get them back to the fold, you know. And that smiting the truth, that consists of videos, you know, coming out, you know, showing, hey, look, this is a new doctrine out here. You know, this is going off, and here's the precepts to justify they're going off. So that's the shepherd smiting. Can we get Jeremiah 3:15 real quick?
It's Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
Pastors or shepherds is one and the same, you know? And a shepherd is a leader over the flock. And as it says here, I will set up pastors according to my heart, according to the truth, that will feed you with knowledge and wisdom. So not only are they feeding the sheep, they're also directing them.
Here comes finishing up. This is Titus 1 and 13. It says that this witness is true. Wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith, man.
Yeah, so your rebukes is part of that, you know. And a rebuke, you know, depending on what it is or, you know, what it's about, it ain't gonna feel good, you know? Because you may come in the truth and you think, okay, smoking weed is cool, you know? It's herbs, I'm not doing crack, you know? Most High grew it, and then you hear the truth, like, look, you ain't supposed to smoke that shit, man. You defiling your temple. That rebuke, man, it ain't gonna feel good, because you know, that's part of your daily routine, your daily habit. You know, you may use that to balance the truth, smoke a little something, you know? But then you get rebuked on it, now it's like, fuck, you know?
And this is the consequence. If you see a brother going off, you don't rebuke this the law says. This is Leviticus 5:1. And if the soul sins and hears the voice of swearing and is a witness, whether he has seen or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity. You know, so if you see a brother going off in doctrine and you don't say nothing, then you're gonna be held accountable for that because you didn't rebuke your brother, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because you can stop that brother, because that brother may be secretly going into books. You know? He may be secretly going into books, and then you rebuke him and tell him, you know, that ain't the way, then he put them books away. But if you don't correct, you know, him as he's going off, he start reading the books more. You know, and he go and buy another book. Oh, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and buy the book of Adam and Eve. I already got the book of Yasser. So I'm gonna go and buy the book of the Wars of the Lord. Like, why are you reading the books, man?
This is NIV version of Leviticus 5:1. It says, if anyone sins because they do not speak up when they hear a public charge to testify regarding something they have seen or learned about, they will be held responsible.
Yeah, see, this truth teaches us to speak up. You know, in black culture, Native American culture, and Mexican culture, let shit slide. Oh, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you feel good, bro, do it. I'm behind you 100%. Go ahead.
But meanwhile, you the same person talking shit behind his back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what such and such doing now?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Y'all got a little precept on.
You know, Edgar came to listen to us for like an hour.
Leviticus 19:17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
And see, these guys, they think we hate them. They think we hate them like how we hate these Edomites. we don't hate y'all. We dislike what y'all teaching. You know, we dislike what y'all teaching because y'all leading the sheep astray. You scattering and not gathering.
It's Ecclesiastes 7:5. 7:5. It says, "For it is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools."
Yeah, because the song of a fool is gonna sound good, man. You know, these other doctrines may sound good. You know. Oh, well, you know, you may have like we were speaking about earlier. You may have an Edomite mother, and you hear a doctrine that's speaking about Edomites can make it. Then, you know, you may be more triggered to go into that doctrine.
You're gonna gravitate to that topic.
You may gravitate to it. You know? And then we hear that. If we don't rebuke that, that means we're suffering sin upon you. And suffering meaning permitting or allowing.
And we're doing the work deceitfully.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it says in Proverbs 14:12, there is a way which seems right unto a man.
There's a way, different doctrines. You know, because this way that we in, Yahweh Shai, this is the way, walk ye in it, like you said. But as a brother said, there is a way that seemeth right. Damn, that sound like that's the truth. Damn, that seem right. Edomites can make it, that seem right. Because I know a couple of Edomites that's cool. They could be Israelite foreigners, bro. Is your mom really an Edomite? She may be an Israelite foreigner that look like a white woman.
Yeah, that seems right can be like, you know, think of Isaiah, like smooth things, man.
Yeah.
It says, but the end thereof are the ways of death.
Yeah, because it's sin, because it's going off. You know, the wages of sin is death. So, you know, them other doctrines, you gotta be wary of some shit that sound too good. You know, it's a saying, too good to be true. You know?
And those men that follow that false doctrine, that wayward doctrine, you can tell them by their look, by their gait, because I saw that fashion show and everybody in that whole camp dressed up to the nines and everything, but they hair was cut all nice and neat. They lineups was like, it was sharp, bro. And you know that's the way to seem right.
You know what I'm saying? I was shy when it's looking fucked up.
You know what I'm saying?
Marcus had a good time.
And that's a new trend anyway.
Yeah.
That lineup, so that shit came in like 90s. You know, so that's new. Back then, we 80s, 70s and 80s, our people didn't have lineups. You know, Marvin Gaye, they didn't have this shit.
Honestly, brother.
It's Isaiah 30:20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. When you turn to the left, when you turn to the right hand, and when you turn to the left.
That's happening right now. You know, every Israelite can pass by us, and we're saying this is the way to walk in it. You know, they're going to our left side, to our right side, you know, but hey, they have been on my counsel, as the scriptures say, man. So that's why the Lord is only calling the elect. When the elect is when you say.
And the scriptures say, my sheep hear my voice. So, call.
So now we gonna go into some of these doctrines. All right. Now there's a doctrine out there that speak about all the Israelites is so-called black people. You know. So let's we're gonna go into 2nd Esdras 14, and we're gonna talk about how the Northern Kingdom got to over here. All right, we're gonna pull out the map.
So we start with Deuteronomy first.
Yeah, however brothers want to do it. You know, I'm gonna get the map.
It's Deuteronomy.
Shalom to the Akim on the comment board.
Deuteronomy 28:64. It says, and the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even to the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even with a stone. So this curse happened, you know, when we were sentenced to slavery through different captivities throughout our history, man. You know, and and we were scattered amongst the heathen nations, and we will have sex with a woman, then our children will come out looking like their nation, but they still the Israel. You know, because it's not about how you look; it's about the spirit, the seed line on your father's side.
And that all Israelites is black people. That is the most carnal doctrine ever. So you can go pull that Hosea 8:8.
All right, the book of Hosea, chapter 8, verse 8. Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure.
So that's Hosea, or Hawashai in the Hebrew. That was a northern kingdom prophet, and he's talking about how Israel is going to be scattered amongst the Gentiles. Now, let's go ahead and go in 2nd Esdras 14, and we're going to talk about, as they call it, the lost tribes, or the 10 tribes of the southern kingdom trip to the Americas.
13.
2nd Esdras 13 and 40. It says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king.
Okay, so, yeah, come. Can you get one side? Actually, hold it here so I can look at it. Hold that right there. All right, so when you go on the map, water, bro. So you got the land of Israel right here. Come up a little forward. You got the land of Israel right here. In the northern region of Israel lie the northern kingdom. Now it says we're going in the time of Hosea, which is the last king that was ruling over the northern kingdom. Now the northern kingdom had tension with the Assyrians, right? You got Syria, and then you have the Assyrians. Syria goes back to Aram, which is one of the sons of Shem, as well as Ashur, which is the Assyrians. That's also one of the sons of Shem. So what happened was you had the king of Assyria took the northern kingdoms into the land of Assyria. So that's what the brother is reading. Go ahead.
It says, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria.
And now this is Salmanassar the fifth, the king of Assyria. Go ahead.
Led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
So Salmanassar carried the northern kingdom to Assyria by the way of the river, right? Passing the river, which is the river Euphrates. And they came into Assyria. When you read about Tobit, Tobit was of the northern kingdom. And Tobit, he was in the land of Mede, right? Go ahead.
And Assyria is Iraq, by the way.
Yeah, modern day Iraq.
It says, but they took this counsel among themselves.
Talking about the tribes that came into Assyria.
That they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
So they talked amongst themselves. They had counsel. They said, look, we tired of getting oppressed from over here. Look, we finna go to another land where never mankind dwelt. All right? So remember, they over here in Assyria or Iraq. Also in Assyria, you had Nineveh. You had the prophet Jonah, or Yahweh in Hebrew. He was prophesying unto Nineveh. And then when you read in Tobit, during that time, Jonah, he was on that scene because Tobit's son Tobias saw the downfall of Nineveh. All right. So now go ahead, bro.
Yep. It says that they might keep, dare keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
Talking about in his land. Talking about the law, statutes, and commandments. Remember, this is talking about the northern kingdom. Go ahead.
It says, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over.
Now, they were over here in Iraq. This river, Euphrates, dumps into the Persian Gulf. Oh, bro, lift it up a little bit. Or matter of fact, let me bring this down a little bit. Yeah. So you got the Persian Gulf right here, the river Euphrates, as well as the Tigris, which both of these rivers are spoken of in what, Genesis the 2nd chapter?
Yeah.
They both dump into the Persian Gulf. Now, the trip that the Northern Kingdom made, they came through the Persian Gulf, went into the Arabian Sea, went over the Horn of Africa, and came around and came to the Americas. Let me see. I'm not even getting. They came from the Persian Gulf into the Arabian Sea. This is the Horn of Africa, which the water is very tumultuous and things of that sort. That's why the scriptures say that the Lord held still the floods. And then they came down here and went into the Americas. All right, go ahead, Rob.
It says, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsaret.
Arsaret, which means another land. Now, it said it took them over a year and a half to get to this place. Now, we've battled demons and bug outs out here, and they said that, you know, the Native Americans, you know, they're Asian or Mongolians, and they got over here by way of the Bering Straits, which that is absolutely wrong. Because first off, it says the 10 tribes, they went through the river, and it took them a year and a half to get to this place, right? And then when they came, you know, they rested in, you know, different parts of South, Central, and Northern America, you know, all through Hispaniola, the different islands of the sea.
Yeah, they even went up north as Africa, man, because you got dudes that talk about the little bridge that over here. That's another false doctrine.
Oh, yeah.
Made by what's the term for these dudes? It was a term, but they off that Christianity, you know.
Yeah. Now, you got some more?
It was a Christian sect that came up with that doctrine.
Yeah, it says, then dwelt they there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come.
Now, when they shall begin to come, talking about the southern kingdom, because it says that the northern kingdom will be here until, back up a little bit, they will be in this land or this country. That was a great way to go into the latter days. And then you can keep reading. Mm-hmm.
It says,
and when they begin to come.
the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again.
Talking about for the southern kingdom. Because during, bring it back a little bit. During the Roman siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD, we was in our land, right? And then during that time, it was the diaspora, which is a Greek word for the scattering. You had reported over 1 million Israelites going to the interiors of Africa, where they later rested in the west coast of Africa, as well as, you know, Asia Minor and Asia and different other parts. So right now it's talking about when the Lord will stay the springs again, meaning make a way for the southern kingdom to come to this land. Go ahead.
That they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace.
Yeah, because they was brought, the southern kingdom was brought, you know, with the northern kingdom. Go ahead.
But those that be left behind of thy people are they that are found within my borders.
Yeah, that's talking about the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You got it?
It says, now when he destroyeth the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he shall defend his people that remain. And
that's going until when Yahweh Shai come to execute justice and judgment in the earth and deliver his remnant. Right? And that's pretty much it.
I would make a point too.
Yeah.
Because our people, the northern kingdom, they knew this land because Solomon had made expeditions by way of Canaanites.
Yeah.
So they knew it was common knowledge. They knew this land over here, and so they made that trip.
Yeah, and the scripture says that the journey took 3 years front to back.
Yeah, round trip. Yeah,
which leads up to a year and a half.
Yeah.
So 3 years. 1 year and a half to get to the Americas, and 1 year and a half back.
Yep. Now, beautiful points, Akim. Now, there was almanacs. Here in certain parts through was it Central America?
It was South.
Or I believe it was in the land of Issachar. Can we get the breakdown of Issachar real quick? Genesis 49, real quick. Man.
Yeah, because our people think that the Olmekids was our people. No, them was the Hamites.
Yeah.
The Phoenicians, because they were skilled in the waters and stuff. So.
Yeah. So they set up, landmarks, and that's what we did. We would set up landmarks. That's why the scriptures speak about remove not the ancient landmarks, because we marked our territory, so to speak. All right, you got it.
This is Genesis 49:14. Issachar is a strong ass crouching down between two burdens.
Now, Issachar is the so-called Mexicans. Now, the two burdens that Issachar is crouched down in between two is North America and Central America. All right, because you got South America, you have Central America, Mexico, and North America. Go ahead.
It says, and he saw that rest was good.
Talking about the land, how beautiful the land is, and the great resources, and the abundance of fruits, and all different type of beautiful things. And it also spoke about how Issachar is a strong ass, which is a donkey. Now, donkey is known for, carrying out very burdensome work. And that's a spirit that's in Issachar. They're known for working hard.
And they doing the jobs that nobody else wants to do.
They doing the jobs that nobody else wants to do, and they always hired.
Always.
You understand? Go ahead.
It says, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute.
Yeah, by way of the Spaniards, because they made them tributaries. It's another one. Keep reading in that. Well, one of the tribes that speak about just keep reading. Yeah. Let's read about Zebulon. Now, Zebulon is from Guatemala to Panama. Right? Zebulon, the Hebrew is a balawan, which means affliction hurt.
My dwelling.
Oh no, my dwelling, Salaki.
And them are
Did the camera pick up on the
Yeah, you got it.
Zebulon, which are the Central Americans. They the Mayan Indians.
Yeah, the Mayan Indians and Issachar, or the so-called Mexicans, those are the Aztec Indians.
Yeah.
All right. And then you got it, Ra.
Genesis 49:13. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be in haven of ships, and his border shall be with the Zidon.
Okay, that's what we wanted. So read that again. Now, once again, Zebulon is from Guatemala to
Oh, right, that's good.
from Guatemala to Panama, and it says shall be a haven for ships. Now, you have the Panama Canal, which was constructed during the president, was it Roosevelt? Hold on, let's get the facts right. Slaki, Akin, we going off on the wind.
As brother saying that, because the Panama Canal was a shortcut, to get from Spain to straight to South America. Because back then, as the brother was going into
Bro, my phone is off, bro. That's how you know it's a thing, bro. My phone is off.
because as the brother was bringing out, you had to go all the way around. Yeah, it was Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh yeah, come. All right. So it was Theodore Roosevelt. All right, one of the presidents of the United States. He had set up, for the Panama Canal to be built. Now he was taking Jamaicans, which is the tribe of Benjamin, and he was also going to Haiti and importing, Israelites into this region to build up the Panama Canal. Now it was with deception because he promised them gold, but then when they was getting over here, they wasn't getting that. A lot of Israelites was dying during the building of the Panama Canal. All right, you can go into that history, but read that precept again.
Genesis 49:13. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea.
Right, which is the Panama Canal. Go ahead.
And he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon.
Now a haven for ships, because this little area, Theodore Roosevelt can cut the travel to import these different, goods into the Americas. They could cut down the time by destroying this area and making a canal to have the ships pass through. So that's why it says Zebulon shall be a haven for ships. Now, also, Zebulon, if I'm not mistaken, his border in the land of Israel was right on the sea as well. And then you also had like Tyre, which is one of Tyre and Zidon, which those was Canaanite lands, in the land of Israel where they once dwelt. So it's twofold. But when you go back here, it says, his border shall be unto Zidon, going into the Canaanites, because there is where them Canaanites was setting up them almanac heads as landmarks when they was coming over here to the New World, commissioned by Solomon, king of Israel, son of David. Right?
Where does it say that the border was set?
Yeah, you just said, bring it out one more time.
Genesis 49 and 13. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going into the only kids that was found. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You're gonna get you.
Yeah, come.
All
right. So now, so we went into two things. We went into the Israelites being scattered, as well as the northern kingdom coming to the New World, man. Because you got doctrines out there that's saying that, the northern kingdom is these different African people over there in Africa.
All black only Israelite.
Yeah.
Opia was saying that Quran, he was put up a video. That's why part of the scripture go into how the Lord stilled the floods in the river. Stilled the floods because you would get some guys with buffed out doctrine that say, well, they'll go in there and look at this river. It can't be nothing that get through here. And he said that. And that's why the book is going into breaking down how the Northern Kingdom came over here, because they try to use that. He tries to use that to justify that it's their what do you say? Their Negro Mexicans or something like that, like dark skinned Mexicans or whatever the case may be. So that just breaks down, through the spirit, that the Lord held still the floods, so they can have because there's a lot of current over there, So the Lord held still the floods for the northern tribes to come this way,
I got a quick. This is St. John 10 and 16. It says, "The other sheep I have, which are now this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd."
Yeah, so that's Yahweh Shai, talking about the northern kingdom. Now, when you go into the different things that the Aztecs and the Mayans worship, there was a particular god called Coatzacoalcos, all right, which there was another one too, and Kukulkan,
Right.
Which means fiery serpent. Which the deity was the same deity, but they made, had a different name for him. And they talk about, basically, the flying serpent, all right, if I'm not mistaken, it goes into, it represents Yahweh Shai, but I believe it was a chariot that came over there, the flying serpent, and he was supposed to be, and Issachar actually have Paso Cueto like airbrushed on lowriders. It'd be this great Mayan, buff dude holding a woman
with feathers
and stuff. And that just represents Yahweh Shai delivering Israel, So Yahweh Shai did come to the New World, man. Now we can. Oh, wait.
I'm now just trying to find. I don't know how to spell it.
What?
Yeah. That's what I'm looking for.
It's like Quatazal.
I found it right here.
Yeah.
Quatazal.
Yeah.
It says.
It's going to another guy. Yeah. So, that's one thing that we can smash out here. Spiritual power. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
These camps, they don't even talk about spiritual power. And then if they do bring up spiritual power, it was figuratively. You know, he wasn't actually doing, you know, raising the dead and healing the blind. It was just figuratively teaching them the truth.
He wasn't feeding the masses.
You know? But Yahushua actually performed miracles. But let's get like 3 miracles real quick that Yahushua did going into power. Maybe we can get maybe let's get an account of power in the Old Testament. We can get Elisha raising up that boy. All right, and then we can get an account of Yahushua, and then we can get an account of the disciples. So that's kind of like well-rounded. Right. Old Testament, Yahushua, and then the apostle. I got one. I'll get one of Peter. Yeah, go ahead.
This is 1 Kings 17 and verse 20. It says, verse 18, it says, and she said unto Elijah, what have I to do with thee, O thou man of God? Art thou come unto me to call my sin to remembrance and to slay my son? Verse 19, and he said unto her, give me thy son. And he took him out of her bosom and carried him up into a loft where he abode and laid him upon his own bed. And he cried to the Lord Yahweh and said, O Yahweh, my God, hast thou also brought evil upon a widow with whom I sojourned by slaying her son? And he stretched himself upon a child 3 times and cried to the Lord and said, O Yahweh, my God, I pray thee, let this child's soul come and enter him again. Verse 22, and the Lord Yahweh heard the voice of Elijah, and the soul of the child came into him again, and he revived.
Spiritual power in the Old Testament, raising the dead, you know. Now I got this of Peter, and this is no particular order. This is Acts chapter 9, verse 36. Now there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Tabitha, which by interpretation is called Dorcas. This woman was full of good works and alms deeds, which she did, because she supported the ministry. And it came to pass in those days that she was sick and died, whom, when they had washed, they laid her in the upper chamber. And for as much as Lydia was nigh to Joppa, and the disciples had heard that Peter was there, they sent unto him 2 men, desiring him that he would not delay to come unto them. Then Peter arose and went with them. When he was come, they brought him into the upper chamber, and all the widows stood by him weeping, showing the coats and garments which Dorcas made while she was with them. You know, that was part of her work. She was sewing up garments. But Peter put them all forth and kneeled down and prayed, and turning him into the body said, Tabitha, arise. And she opened her eyes, and when she saw Peter, she sat up. Spiritual power.
This is Matthew 9 and 18. While he spake these things unto them, behold, there came a certain ruler and worshipped him, saying, my daughter is even now dead, but come and lay thy hand upon her, and she shall live. And Yahushua rose and followed him, and so did his disciples. And behold, a woman that was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years came behind him and touched the hem of his garment. For she said within herself, if I may but touch his garment, I shall be whole. But Yahushua turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, daughter, be of good comfort, thy faith hath made thee whole. And the woman was made whole from that hour. And brother, show you that, you know, people knew that Yahushua had spiritual power. Because it tells you, and I think in the book of Matthew too, that his fame spread throughout Jerusalem when he was healing the sick, you know, and stuff like that. It says, and when Yahushua came into the ruler's house and saw the minstrels and the people making a noise, he said unto them, give place, for the maid is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. But when the people were put forth, he went in and took her by the hand, and the maid arose, and the fame hereof went abroad into all that land. Spiritual power.
Our brothers brought out John I can bring it out, you know, just to reinforce it, you know what I'm saying? Not like an example, but it's like a scripture that reinforces thou not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? How shall I speak? Okay. The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. And what are the works? The miracles, man. Raising up people from the dead, casting out devils, healing people, all right, cleansing people of their leprosy, the blindness, you know, people being made whole. You got people that were crippled and they were made whole. How is that possible through spiritual power, man? All right, because you know, if someone was crippled his whole life, you know, the legs, the muscles in the legs stop developing, you know, they shrivel up because of the inactivity. But guess what? He was making them whole, meaning at that very instant, he quickened, he rejuvenated their legs, man. All right, through the spirit of Yahweh Shai. Verse 11. Believe me that I am in the Father. Oh, so like, yeah. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father in me, or else believe me for the very work's sake. All right, and that's what's gonna happen when miracles start happening. All right, in these latter days. All right, that's gonna be when the people's gonna start really coming in. Okay.
All right, and then.
For verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. All right, because Yahweh Shai being the mediator, he's basically like the supplier of it, you know.
Yeah, so you know, so that's spiritual power. Now there's another doctrine saying that if you eat meat, you're gonna go to hell.
You're gonna perish.
So, all right, if we could pull up. Yahweh Shai kept the Passover, you know, because Yahweh Shai, he kept the Passover, meaning he ate lamb, okay, and he was perfect, right? So that's how we can press that doctrine right there. Yeah.
Now this is Matthew chapter 26, verse 17. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Yahweh Shai, saying unto him, where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? And he said, go into the city to such a man and say unto him, the master said, my time is at hand, I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples.
I mean, that's pretty much it right there.
Yep.
I mean, Yahweh Shai said, go get a lamb, you know, so the lamb can be prepared, and then we gonna have the Passover.
Because that's what
you eat the Passover lamb, bitter herbs, and wine.
Yeah.
You know, what you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say because that's what the Passover is. If people don't really get it, that's what it is: the eating of the lamb and the bitter herbs and the wine.
Right. And we know Yahweh Shai, you know, he was perfect when he came on the scene as the Hamashiach. So let's see.
I got
go ahead.
Now, the law says right here, this is Deuteronomy 14 and verse 4. It says, these are the beasts which you shall eat, the ox, the sheep, and the goat, the hart, and the roebuck, and the fallow deer, and the wild goat, and the pygarg, and the wild ox, and the camois, and every beast that parteth the hoof, and cleaveth the cleft into his claws, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that you shall eat.
Yeah, so it tells you what beast you should eat, and what to look for on their feet, if, you know, as an identifier of them being a clean animal.
I mean, what about the quails? I mean, the Most High provided quails.
Yeah. Yeah. What's another one? No, it's another one. I had another one, man. We can go to the Nephilim. Genesis 6.
During Passover, you say you shall eat the lamb or the goats.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got a high holy, you know, the Passover, which is also known as the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We eat, you know, lamb. And also, you know, that cuts two doctrines. If you eat meat, you're going to hell, as well as you got to be vegetarians.
Yes.
You know, so that's cut two doctrines with that.
This is Exodus 12 and 4. It says, and If the household be too little for the land, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his ease shall make your account for the land. Your land shall be without blemish. A male of the first year, you shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats.
So it's plain.
And I kind of watched some of that meat eaters doctrine, right? They were talking about thou shalt not eat the blood. You know what I'm saying? The whole video, they bringing out jubilees first of all, right? They bringing out jubilees about eating blood.
Yeah.
And I think it was Saratazah, I believe, or maybe Elder but not the Zakba, that said, you know, it wasn't about blood, it was to be about eating the meat. And we make sure to take our blood out of the meat when we eat it.
Yeah, because as it's written, life is in the blood.
This is Genesis 9:4. But the flesh with the life there, which is the blood thereof, shall you not eat. Verse 3. Sorry, verse 3. Every living thing that liveth shall be meat for you. And this is talking about every clean meat.
Yeah.
You know? It says, even as the green herb have I given you things, but flesh with the life there, which is the blood thereof, shall you not eat.
It's plain. You don't eat the blood. All right. We can. Oh, you know what? The Sabbath. You know. Because
that's a doctrine.
You know, people look at that's a heavy demon too.
Stumbling block.
So let's get that in Kings. No, not Kings. Samuel, because we got to establish when is the first day to understand when is the seventh day, right? So the Sabbaths, you got new moons, which is the beginning of a month.
Right.
The new moon is also a Sabbath. 7 days after that, that's a Sabbath, and that continues the Sabbath for that month. The new moon dictates the Sabbath phases. Now, the cycle of a moon phases is 29.53 days. All right, that is a month. So the first thing we're going to establish is when is the first day of the month. Go ahead.
This is 1 Samuel 20 and verse 4. It says, then said Jonathan unto David, whatsoever thy soul desireth, I will even do it for thee. And David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is a new moon, and I shall not fail to sit with the king at meat.
Yeah, because at meat, because the new moon, that's a feast day, right?
But let me go, that I may hide myself in the field until the third day at even. And we jump down to verse 24. It says, so David hid himself in the field, and when a new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat. It says, and the king sat upon his seat, and as at other times even upon his seat by the wall, and Jonathan arose and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty. Jumping down to verse 27, and it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month.
So the new moon is the first day of the month, and then the next day, which was after the new moon, was the second day. So the first day is the new moon, which the new moon is a new month. Right? Now, I'll get Ecclesiastes 40. Okay, go ahead.
And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month, that David's place was empty. And Saul said unto Jonathan his son, wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to me, neither yesterday nor today? Yeah, so the new moon is the first day of the month, and it's what governs the month, you know.
All right. So this is Ecclesiastes 43, when you brothers can break it down. He made the moon also to serve in her seasons for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. It says, from the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreases in her perfection.
Decreasing in her perfection, decreasing is a waning moon. You know, which waning means to decrease. And perfection, that's the full moon. You know.
It says the month is called
by her name.
After her name, increasing wonderfully in her changes.
Yeah, because the moon has 8 cycles. You know.
waxes and it wanes.
Yeah, different phases.
Yeah, not cycle. There's 8 moon phases, I meant to say. Well,
Being an instrument in the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven.
yep. Yeah, because it shines at nighttime. You know, it illuminates. You know?
Let me get this in Hosea. Now, another doctrine is you can have sex on the Sabbath.
Oh.
But I want to get into how, first off, the new moons and the Sabbaths, which new moons is Sabbaths, you wasn't to buy and sell on those days either. Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's Isaiah 66 and 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, said the Lord.
God. He said that the new moon and the Sabbath is just the ones all in one sentence.
Yeah.
But I suppose that new moon is a new month.
Don't even play these demons because they probably looking for attention. Don't even play them no more. Hosea 8 and 5, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn in the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances of the by deceit.
Yeah, because that's the wicked Israelites, not wanting to, keep the Sabbath, on the new moon.
Finessing the weights and the balances of wheat.
Yeah, because you're supposed to have a perfect balance with the Lord, man.
Wicked Jakes do that in the dope game,
Have more
Lighten it
sacks.
up. Yeah.
Like some sacks be heavy, some sacks be less than what the other sacks.
Yeah, like you watch Power and them different movies, Force, they split it and all that shit. That's them, falsifying the balances of deceit. You got one.
That made me think of them chips when we bought from the store.
Oh yeah, they
be more. It was more air in there than
Yeah. So a Sabbath is a holy day, right? Bro's gonna precept keep the Sabbath.
Exodus.
Yeah. Because for it's holy.
It's not Friday to Saturday.
Oh yeah, it's not Friday to Saturday because Sabbath can be Monday evening to Tuesday evening. As we went into it, all depends on. Now, can the Sabbath come on a Fridays, sundown to Saturday sundown? Yeah, but it all depends on how the new moon comes in.
Yeah.
You got to go.
This is Psalms 104 and verse 19. He appointed the moon for seasons, the sun knoweth it's going down. Exodus 20. It's Exodus 20 and verse 8. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Yeah, to keep it holy. Now, that word holy goes back to the Hebrew word kodash, which means, to separate or to be clean. Now, when a man see the when the seed of copulation comes out, a man is unclean. You're going to get that real quick. That Leviticus 15. This is Leviticus 15, verse 16. And if any man's seed of copulation, the sperm, go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until evening. So if it's a Sabbath day, and it's a holy day, which holy meaning clean, if you bust a nut on a Sabbath day, then you're unclean. So, you clearly going off. So no sex on the Sabbaths. You will profane the Sabbath.
Where's that one piece of Isaiah says pleasure there or something like that? It's like Isaiah.
Oh, it's Isaiah 58.
58.
Hold on, let me look it up.
It goes something like not having pleasure in the Sabbath. Oh, here it goes. This Isaiah 58, verse 13. It says, if thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day.
Yeah, pleasure. They call sex pleasure.
It says, and call the Sabbath a delight. the holy of the Lord Yahweh, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thy own ways, nor finding thy own pleasure, nor speaking thy own words.
Yeah, so you ain't supposed to go to no amusement park on the Sabbath. I'm not at work, but I'm at Disneyland though. You know? All right. So that's another doctrine that we cut spiritually. We can go into the dream Peter had. Because some people think that you can eat any damn thing now.
Yeah, it's not what goes in you that defiles.
So, and then we can also go into, well, how we doing on time?
Oh, you got another, you got 40 minutes.
Okay, so we can go into that, and then we can also go into the unwashing hands. So what we're going to go into is this vision that Peter had of basically the Gentiles coming in. Yeah.
This Acts 10:9. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh to the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance and saw heaven open and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners and let down to the earth.
So this is a vision that Peter is seeing. Go ahead.
It says, wherein all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air.
Now, this dream represents Israelites being in a beastly state of mind.
And there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, eat, kill, and eat. But Peter said, not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean.
And common and unclean, now it's going into the Gentiles, all right, which were Israelite foreigners or scattered Israelites that were cut off from their heritage through, their parents and their families, being into that Greco-Roman lifestyle. Got that?
Oh, you talking to me?
You got a preset.
Yeah. Well, actually, too. This is Psalm 73:22. So foolish was I and ignorant, I was as a beast before you.
Yeah, because a beast, is go off instincts and what they feel at that moment.
Yeah.
So that makes you like a beast. With the scripture, with the wisdom, we're supposed to move in the spirit.
Discern.
That's what make us gods.
Yeah.
That sets us apart from animals. Set us apart from animals.
That's why the Lord commanded us to be, we're supposed to be rulers over the animals, because they beastly,
Yeah, they're really beastly.
This is Ecclesiastes 3:18. I say in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that Yahweh might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. And the sons of men, them are the heathen nations. So the Lord called the heathen nations beasts. Because like you were saying, they go off their instinct. They don't have divinely laws and commandments to directly order them, to be in order and stuff. Yeah,
They worship idols.
yeah, they made to God nations are artists.
Yeah.
I read it over again, verse 13. And there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, where Yahweh hath cleansed, call not thou common.
20%.
This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven.
Now it says done thrice, because when you go into the story, 3 men came to Peter. All right. Let's hit the 28th verse.
Skipping down to verse 28. And he said unto them, ye know how that it is a lawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation, but Yahweh has showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean.
So that was the vision. That was the vision. He saw basically Israelites coming to him, man. Israelites that were in a beastly state of mind, which were scattered Israelites under the banner of Greek. looked like she was kind of thinking the definition.
When you go into that word, verse 28, that word nation, it's alophos, which means another tribe. You know, lophos is foreign because it's a compound word. Alos means another, and phule, which means a tribe. And it says in the New Testament, all the persons descending from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob. And Peter, he was talking to Israel. You know? So Cornelius, he was in another tribe, it didn't say, but he was an Israelite. You know? He may look like so-called white man, but he was an Israelite because he had characteristics of an Israelite.
A lot of Christians use this specific chapter to justify the eating abominations.
Yeah.
You know? That's why the brother's breaking it down about unclean foods, man, because still, hey, the Most High doesn't change. You know? The Most High doesn't change at all, man. So you can't justify, I'm going to use this scripture, now I can use pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, and all these things because the Most High cleansed them. That's not what we're talking about. But you'll get a pastor that'll tell you, you got to read the whole book. You know? The Lord said, with all that get understanding. You know, we understand through the Spirit probably how about that was talking about Israelite food.
We're going to further go into that. This is Matthew 15, verse 1. Then came Yahushua, scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, why do ye also transgress the commandment of the Most High by your traditions? Yahushua was cutting. For the Most High commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother, and he that curses father or mother, let him die to death. But ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have ye made the commandment of the Most High of none effect by your tradition, because it was about money. The lips, but their heart out of the mouth, this defileth the man. So Christians, like the brother said, will also use this precept to justify them eating whatever the fuck they want to eat.
Pork and
Or
shrimp.
it's not what goes into the mouth that defiles the man. Which they wasn't eating meat. They was eating bread. Let's go back to the second verse. Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders, for they wash not their hands when they eat bread? You know, bread is a major part of our customs, you know. Now bread can also be used as meat, but it says bread here, you know? So they wasn't eating pork and shit like that. So it says, back in the letter, not that which goeth into the mouth defileth the man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth the man. Some of this actions, you brothers.
Yeah, it's talking about your actions, man. You know, because what goes into your mind? Wicked. Oh, yeah, I wish I said that. Can you get that, bro? When it said wicked thoughts.
Yeah. Come.
He actually said it.
Let me see how much time. I mean, okay, cool. Yeah. 12. Then came his disciples and said unto him, knowest thou that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying? So the word around the town is that these people was offended at Yahushua. You know, he was, gaining haters. It says, but he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father hath not planted shall be rooted up. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Then answered Peter and said unto him, declare unto us this parable.
Blind leaders of the blind.
Yeah.
They fall into the ditch. That's a lot of these so-called leaders today that's teaching these wayward doctrines that we're going into right now. Through the Spirit. So the people that are listening to them, if their leader is blind, guess what? They just as blind. Guess what? They're gonna get destroyed in the aftermath.
Yahushua said, "Are ye also yet without understanding?" So Yahushua, he would come, with that pressure on the disciples, man. He wasn't, Mr. Nice Guy. Do not ye yet understand that whatsoever enter in at the mouth goeth into the belly, and is cast out the drought? But those things which proceed out of the mouth coming from the heart, and they defile a man.
It starts in the mind. People say specific things, it's the truth and stuff like that. It starts in their mind, then it proceeds out of their mouth. The thought.
Yeah.
Just like the Lord said, adultery started with
Whosoever looketh upon a woman and lust after her, already committed adultery with her in her heart.
Right. They're already thinking, they're already thinking of doing it. So, after they thought about it, it's just an action after that.
It says, verse 19, "For out of the heart proceedeth evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witnesses, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defile not a man." So, he said they use that to justify eating anything. Now let's go into the house of David. These other camps, they don't talk about the house of David, the elect.
At all.
Let's start with Isaiah 10 and 20 because this is for a remnant. They don't talk about the remnant, the elect. The house of David and the remnant and the elect, Israel the Most High is all synonymous. So we can go ahead and tack that and ride that out to the end of camp. So we can start Isaiah 10 and 20 first. Set the foundation with that.
It's Isaiah 10 and 20. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty God, Yahweh."
It's talking about the house of David. It's talking about the elect, the remnant is the house of David. As the Lord said, Amos 9, he was going to raise up the tabernacles of David again, as in the days of old. When we read the history of priests, even First Samuel, Second Samuel, when David came on the scene, including his men, they were mighty men, and the Lord used King David and his men, to thrash these heathens, man.
This is Amos 9:11. It says, "In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David."
That day is talking about now. That's why you see these different camps, right? Can you get Ezekiel? It talks about Ezekiel 37, exceeding great army. Go ahead, brother.
It says, "In that day will I rise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old."
And we know the tabernacle of David, what? Mighty man. So the men that you see out here on the highways and byways, right, through the Spirit, right, that's teaching the correct doctrine, right, through the Spirit of Shai, that's the Lord raising up the tabernacle of David, all right, reviving it and rebuilding it, man, all right, as in the days of old. And guess what? The Lord's going to use these specific men that you see, all right, to do what? All over again, to take down his enemies. As King David said, "Oh Lord, don't I hate them that hate you? I even hate them with a perfect hatred." So King David hated the enemies of the Lord, man. We know that on the planet Earth today, we're the main enemies of the Lord, which really is all these heathens, but the ones that got the children of Israel under harsh oppression, which is so-called white men. Right? So the Lord again is going to raise up the tabernacle of David, right, which are the Israelites, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, to thrash the main enemy, which is Esau, Edom, man.
I agree with 12. It says, "That they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen, which I call by my name, saith the Lord Yahweh that doeth this."
Right, God. That's not talking about the heathens are called by the name of the Lord, all right? But they're going to go into captivity, man.
You want me to, what verse you want me to start at?
actually start off where it says the flesh came upon him. Hosea 16:1. Because like we said, what you're seeing right now is just the tabernacle of David being raised up, right? And these other camps
They're not bringing that out.
Yeah.
No, they don't bring it out. No, they don't bring it out, man. But we do, because that's who the Lord's ultimately raising up, man. And you got the house of Saul out here too, man, which is a lot of you wicked Israelites, man. All right? It says with these wayward doctrines, man. You know, it says in the scripture that the house of David waxed stronger and stronger. The house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. And there was always war between the house of David and the house of Saul. So even with that now, spiritually, you know, what we're going into with these doctrines, man. You know?
Yeah, you know, going into the valley of dry bones, the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37 and 7. Our valley of dry bones represented, you know, our people, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, you know, being in this low condition, not knowing who we were, and then being rejuvenated by the flesh and the sinews. You know, as we're getting ready to read, that's us coming back into this truth. So, book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 7. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone, and I beheld, and lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them above, and there was no breath in them.
Yeah, so that, you know, that's going into, you know, during the 60s, you had, you know, different, you know, movements that was taking place in Los Angeles and Chicago and New York, where, you know, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans was coming together. You know, they all found out that they had one common enemy, and they were all oppressed. You know, but they didn't have the breath in it.
Right.
You know, the truth didn't come till, you know, the late 60s, going into the 70s, all the way as Mama Bivens, we believe that was John the Baptist that was foretold to come.
I got some of these movements back then. You got the Black Panther movement that was led by Fred Hampton. You got the Puerto Ricans movement, which were the Young Lords in the 1960s, and you got the Mexicans, Brown Berets, and the Chicana movements.
Yeah. So, you know, that was, you know, Jake starting to, you know, come up out of that sleep, you know. But as the brother went into, they didn't have the breath, and you know, they knew they was oppressed. They knew they had a common enemy. They knew that this system wasn't for them, but they didn't have what bond that brings the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, together with his people. They didn't have Yahweh Shem.
So it reads, and would not be held below the sinews. So like verse 9, then he said unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith Yahweh Shem Yahushai, our power.
Which the wind represents the spirit, prophesying in the spirit, in the truth. You know, some people, you know, some brothers think when they say prophesying in the wind, you just out here just prophesying. No, they're prophesying in the spirit, with the scriptures. Because spirit goes back to the Hebrew word rakah, which is wind.
Alright, and it reads, say to the wind, thus saith Yahweh Shem Yahushai, our power, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain that they may live.
Just like Yahushua breathed on the disciples, and they understood, they started understanding things, you know. So the Lord will command this truth to be breathed on individuals so they can come out of that dark state. You know, and the breathing start getting breathed on you, for example, is you understanding the truth. You believing the truth.
I have a precept on how basically, you know, it says Deuteronomy 4:1. Now therefore hearken, O Israel, to the statutes and to the judgments which I teach you for to do them, that you may live and go in and possess the land which Yahweh, the Most High of your fathers, has given you. That's how you live by the word.
Yeah. Because without the word, you're as dead bodies laying in the street of this great city. You know, you're as like a skeleton.
Verse 10, so I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived, stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army.
Yeah, stood on their feet. Because without this truth, as I mentioned, through the Spirit, there's a dead body laying on the street of this great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. You know? So what this truth does, it enables you to, get the sinews and the flesh, which is your nationality, right? And then the Spirit is breathing into you. Now you got your life, and now you stand on your feet. So what this is the resurrection of the dead by way of Yahweh Shah.
I got a precept.
It's the back to life move.
This is Baruch 5:5. Arise, O Jerusalem, stand on high, look about toward the east, and behold thy children gathered from the west unto the east by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the remembrance of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai.
So the word of the Holy One, the word of Yahweh Shai, is what gathers the elect. You know? And we come from the east to the west, meaning all over the place. Is that it over there?
Yeah. I spake by the mouth of my own, that I heard the prophets, the world's beginning. So it's not even our words that we're speaking, it's the words of Yahweh Shai. It's the Spirit of the Lord, especially waking these Israelites up. That's why the Lord said, my sheep hear my voice and follow me. You know?
It's the word, and through his word, the remembrance of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai.
Hosea 61. It says, come and let us return unto the Lord Yahweh, for he hath torn and he will heal us. He has smitten and he will bind us up.
He's giving you through his spirit the message to return to the Lord, man. You know? It says he will what?
It says, for he hath torn and he will heal us.
Yeah. You know, hey, one of the worst ways we got torn is losing our nationality. You know? But he healed us by what? When Yahweh Shai, because he tells you in Isaiah the 6th chapter, lest they heal and be converted, man. You know, so that, like the brother said, those ones that don't have this truth, they're not healed ultimately by the word, man. But for us, through the Spirit of Yahweh Shai, we got the truth, and we're healed, man. You know?
I got something right quick. You got that in the Psalms? Oh, yeah, you got it.
Oh. It's Psalms 1:7-20. He sent his word and healed them and delivered them from their destruction.
And the word is Yahweh Shai, man. He sent his word and healed them, man. You know? Hey, when you don't got your true nationality, and you don't know who you are, man, that's sickening, man. You know? That's one of the worst things that can happen to you, not knowing who you are.
And Salakia, but that's how you end up being tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine.
Yep. Now people have a great spirit to search for a higher power, man. But hey, it's not for everybody, you know.
Going back to Hosea 62, 61 in the middle says, he has smitten and he will bind us up. Verse 2, after
it says bound. When you get a scar or a dash, you bound it together with ointment. Let's speak about ointment.
Bomb.
Band-aid.
Yeah.
Band-aid. Band-aid is binding that wound together. That's healing. So this truth was the Band-aid that we needed because we were putrefying sores. Putrefying sores, as you read in Isaiah the 1st chapter, meaning gaping wounds. We had gaping wounds, spiritually, gaping wounds, just bleeding, just bloody,
and we were destroyed because the whole head was sick.
So what the Lord did with the truth, can we get that, what's the Psalm 17, the ointment?
It said Band-aid, right?
Oh, he like you. Coco like you.
Words His truth is what aid is.
Sorry.
Coco busy.
He probably smells better knowledge,
Hey, smell that dog you got.
Go ahead.
He said the dog was getting his knowledge. Can't he get his knowledge?
Wisdom of Solomon 16:12. There was neither herb nor mollifying plaster that restored them to health, But thy word, O Yahweh, which healeth all things.
Yeah, so it was the word that healed us. The word symbolically was the ointment and the band-aids and the neosporin and the peroxide,
the gauze
alcohol,
and shit.
to where we got the clearing off these sores off
Yep.
of us. You know, because we were defiled here. And those sores represent black culture, Mexican culture, Native American culture,
Hip-hop and shit.
hip-hop culture,
Yeah.
American culture,
Yeah.
being a nigga, a street dude, selling dope,
Pimping
selling
and hoeing.
drugs, pimping hoes, you know, all that. So we had to get, you know, cleansed from that, you know. As the scriptures speak about how my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So you got sores all over your body and you bent over and you in a weak state, you know, laying all over the ground, you were in a destroyed state. Can't nobody do nothing with you. No? So this is the importance of the house of David, because the house of David is compacted of these individuals that got the life in them, that the Lord is cleansing by way of the truth, and they're standing bold, you know. The righteous man standing stiff.
King David and his army, they were bold.
Yeah.
You know, they were, you know, they got down.
And the Lord was blessing the house of David. David is saying a prayer, you know, Lord, you know, can we go against these Philistines? Go up. Order return and say, go up. Meaning, you know, I'm with you.
And that's why we got so many people so on Discord, because they're in great fear of this.
Yeah.
You know, come back together and be like the house of David, which is the prophecy. You know, we're gonna take possession of the remnant of Eden.
Hosea 3. Y'all got Hosea 3?
I go to the,
What you have?
It was more.
Okay, yeah.
Hosea 6:2. It says, after 2 days will he revive us, and the third day he will raise us up.
Yeah, Brother said going into the 1960s, you know, with Apostle Bivens, you know, the Lord revived us, man, the Spirit. Started using special men, you know, to teach this word, you know, throughout the four corners of the earth. And now a lot of Israelites are getting their nationality back. Hey, that's when, you know, the Christians really call it a great revival, but it's a great revival. You know, getting this that breath of life back. You know, being able to understand and get to know the Heavenly Father. It's really not actuality, but you know, this truth is about knowing your how much you shine, about knowing your power, about knowing what He likes. We're His ones, so you got to know what He likes. You know?
And Jeremiah the 9th chapter, it says, "Let no man glory in his strength, but glory that he know me."
Right.
You know? This is it Jeremiah 9?
Yeah, it's 9 and 24.
All right, just Jeremiah 9:23. Thus saith Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let them that glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am Yahweh, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith Yahweh.
We're blessed that you know the Heavenly Father, man. Because this world don't know the Heavenly Father. You know, they don't know the scriptures, man. They break the scriptures down wrong. They still doing things contrary to, you know, the commandments of the Lord. You know, and I'm talking about our people first and foremost, you know. But they don't know the Most High. But us, we glory in because we know the Heavenly Father, man. You know, we have the Lord bless us with the understanding to know His ways, man.
Yep.
Going back to Hosea 62. It says, after 2 days will he revive us, and the third day he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight.
But we're living. You know, and it say he shall raise them up. I'll raise up the tabernacle of David as in the days of old. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing the nation of Israel being raised up. Mainly the elect, the tabernacle of David. That's why you see a lot, like the brother mentioned earlier. You see everybody's becoming hip to be all Israelite Shalom. Listen, that at one point in time, you didn't see that all the time. You know?
You get adversity.
Right. We was once those niggas on the street corners wearing garments. Now you get people that roll by, hey, I seen y'all out there, man, in Shalom, Israel. I know about this.
Yep, like
You go to
today.
the movies and you'll see people
Put the t-shirt print.
T-shirt fringes on.
Hey, you know, great thing. You're starting to see the influx of more northern tribes, so-called Latinos, find out the true nationality too. They're starting to know. They're starting to find out.
And this brother, what's your name again?
Jonathan.
Huh? Jonathan? Yeah, this is the second time coming and listening. You know?
It's the car.
Yeah.
And you got this rap music video, essays, whatever. One of them was rapping the dude that was behind him. He had on that little medallion that's made out of leather that got the names on them.
Yeah.
This dude's all tatted up. He look like a straight street dude. But, it is what it is. But at least it's that spirit coming back and our people going back to it.
At least an awareness. You're right.
It's awareness. So whether he makes it or not, that's on that situation right there in itself. But the people are waking up, man.
Psalm 50 and verse 21, it says, "These things thou hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thought that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes." Tabernacle of David being set in order right before Esau's eyes.
Because Esau see this, man.
Yeah.
These elites, they see our videos on YouTube. We in one of the major, it's a major cross street in LA. Down the way you got, the small hat town.
Yeah.
If you can see, you got the Hollywood sign right here. A lot of traffic. Lisa, every time we come out here, Lisa, what, 1 million people maybe?
This is a cheap place of
At
conquest.
least 1 million people see us when we come out here in the cars,
You got bank buildings
bank buildings and stuff. So, I'm pretty sure a small hat drove by and was like,
Oh no.
man, and there go another one, and another camp. So, we're being set in order. Because this is what you want to be a part of when it's famine, death, destruction, tribulation. All these wild things that's going to surely come and be happening in the world. You want to hedge your protection, man.
You want to get that blood off your hands.
You want the divine intervention. You want the Lord to protect you. And enable you to. Can we get that precept in Job where it says in famine? Yeah. We bring this out real quick. Because, hey, Jonathan, this is the truth, man.
Job 5 and 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee.
That's talking about the deliverance of the elect being scarcely saved, right?
When it says 7, it just means a complete number of troubles. 7 means completion. It says, in famine he shall redeem thee from death.
Yeah, you hear a lot of articles and reports coming out that's talking about famine. Food insecurity, as Esau called it. And then they're also speaking about how, it's been bird flu with the chickens, and they had to slaughter out 5.3 million in Idaho. In the coming months, the price of meat is going to go up sky high. Which that's going to cause people to panic buy. And when panic buying is happening, panic crime is happening. So famine and sedition and anarchy and chaos, that's all one and the same. Go ahead.
It says, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh.
So that's the mindset of the elect. They won't be moved when destruction coming, which is the fall of this economy. Everything being turned upside down, Esau coming down like a flood, military troops, army, the Navy, quarantine, FEMA camps,
Cannibalism.
The elect mind state ain't gonna be worried.
Nope.
And then the Lord is gonna enable them to eat. Isaiah 6:65 speaks about how my servant shall eat and my servant shall drink, but ye shall be hungry and thirsty. So it's going to be 2 different types of mind states in the time that we enter into. It's going to be the blessed mind state and the forsaken and bugged out and tossed to and fro mind state. So this is the truth, man.
This 2nd Ezra 16 and let me see. 74. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith Yahweh, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same.
And this is to the beloved, which David named in the Hebrew, Dawad, or Dawadah, means beloved, going back to the house of David. So this is a message to the elect. look, beloved, behold, the days of trouble are at hand. Meaning we can see it. You know, who the men foreseeth the evil. But it says there with balance, but I will deliver thee, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh. So if you don't have the belief that the Lord is going to deliver you and you calling on his true names, then man, you asked out, man.
Verse 75, be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh is your God.
So a God is an individual. Like if you on a trip and you hired a tourist guide, he's showing you where to go. Okay, this is where you're going to eat. We got good drinks over there. You know, oh yeah, this is the safe zone over here. You don't want to go over there past 7 because you got, you know, certain activities that go on at night. It's danger over there. You want to be over here. You want to stay in these hotels, you know? Oh no, I'm gonna go with you because they like to jip people off for money. You know, that's what a guide does, a travel guide do. So in a time of trouble, the Lord is gonna have Psalm 34:7, which you know, roughly paraphrasing, angels encamp around the man of the Lord.
That's a benefit.
That's a benefit.
Having a God.
And as it's written, the Lord, blessed be Yahweh, which daily loadeth us with benefits. So one of the benefits that we're going to be loaded up with daily is a hedge of protection that's going to guide us. You know?
Quick precept. You finished it? Okay.
Okay.
Here's the book of Isaiah, chapter 33 and 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Yahweh is his treasure.
Yeah, so this knowledge that we got now, it's gonna be the
And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time.
Stability. So this wisdom knowledge out the Bible is gonna be our stability. Stability, we go to the Hebrew word, from the Hebrew word amawana, which is the feminine way of saying amawan, which is faith. So the wisdom that we got now is gonna be our faith that we have in Jacob's trouble, man.
You mix that wisdom with that scripture you just pulled. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because a lot of people's finna get carnal, man.
I'm telling you.
You know, a lot of people's gonna have guns on them, bats, chains, weapons, and they're gonna be willing to do anything for a loaf of bread.
Man.
You know, a gallon of water. You know, a lot of women is gonna get raped, ravished, taken advantage of, you know, in the days to come.
They're gonna be offering themselves.
Oh yeah. Women is gonna be giving themselves to men for a sandwich, man, a whole sandwich. You know, and these times is what the scriptures call tribulation. You know, when you read in Matthew the 24th chapter, when Yahweh said,
there shall be great tribulation.
He said great tribulation, not just tribulation, but great tribulation.
And when the Lord say great tribulation, the Lord mean it.
Yeah, it's a difference. You know, you can say I had a good day, and then I had a great day. It's a big difference, man.
Big difference.
You know, so it's gonna be great tribulation. Tribulation already bad.
Because people already be impatient when they be in drive-thrus and stuff, man. When they don't get their food at a point in time that they want they have their food at, they be getting throwing tantrums, man.
Yeah, they lay their hand on that horn, man.
And they got a wake of this new breed of people like Karens who are just going to be out there illing. It's not even crazy yet. And they already illing. You see what I'm saying? So there's all kinds of people going to be bugging.
No counterpart Karen, man.
Yeah.
Psalms 18 and 30. As for Yahweh, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him.
Yeah, how do you trust in the Lord? Do you trust in the Lord by just looking up and saying, I trust you? You trust in the Lord by the things that's written in the scripts.
I'm measuring the time.
You know, if the Lord, like the brother read it in 2 Ezra 16, verses 72 on down, behold, the days of our trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you out of the same. Putting your trust in the Lord is trusting with that said. Hey, look, days of trouble is at our hand, meaning you understand that Jacob's trouble is coming. You believe that, right? And then you believe that the Lord is going to deliver you out of the same. Why? Because you believe. You know, these people
panic shopping.
They can say they believe in the Bible or they believe in God, but they don't believe in the counsel. They don't believe in the true names of the Lord. They don't believe that he has a chosen people.
Yep.
So therefore, they're unbelievers.
Yep.
So the Lord isn't going to be delivering unbelievers.
Nope.
You know, in Revelation 19, it speaks about all unbelievers. Can we get that real quick? Psalm 19, all whoremongers, unbelievers, all liars.
Like Revelation 21.
Revelation. Yeah. Because it tell you the individuals that's going to get destroyed out here.
What verse is it?
Like verse 8.
8.
Verse 8. 19 and 8?
Yeah, what that say?
21.
It's
21 8. What?
All right, so book of, yeah, there it is. The book of Revelations chapter 21, verse 8. But the fearful and unbelieving.
See? The fearful and the unbelieving. Unbelieving in what? Unbelieving in the doctrine. You know? Because people drive up and down the street, see us with these on, these signs. We got cameras and phones out and books. Oh, that ain't the truth. You know? Because the truth ain't in the church. You know what's in the church? False doctrines and the leadership begging for money, man.
Idolatry.
You know? And idols. But the fearful and unbelieving, go ahead.
Fearful and unbelieving. The abominable.
The abominable. What's the abominable? The alphabet community.
Man.
You know? That's the abominable. If man be found lying with man as a
Abomination.
woman, both of them are abomination.
Yep.
And they shall be put down.
Right. Drag queens.
Yeah. That's an abomination. Go ahead.
And murderers.
And murderers. You know, Jake, you got this drill music that Esau just made the platform for Jake, and Jake, he just pushes that energy out. Drill music, that Atlanta music, that whole Atlanta vibration. You know, when they just walking around with Dracos and big guns, killing one another, gang violence and all that, that's murder. All them hood dudes that these women like, you know, these how you say, like gangsters in Spanish?
Gangsters.
Huh? Cholos, yeah. Cholos, gangsters, thugs, they all, the Lord putting them all to death.
And you see that in Latin America with cartel people, man.
Yeah.
Sicarios, you know what I'm saying? You know, you go narco corridos. You know, they tell the story about so-and-so from Sinaloa, and he got into it with so-and-so from Jalisco, you know, it's just two organizations, people over there. Lots of people is displaced, by the way. That's big money fucking gang shit. Whole villages, people just have to move out because two organizations are going to war, man.
Yeah. Most High laying all them down.
Man.
Esau, the so-called white man, he funds that, he supplies that.
Yep. And glorifies it in the media.
He make movies on it.
Yep.
You need to see no more on there.
Con. All right. And it reads, and whoremongers.
What is a whoremonger? A monger is a person that sells stuff. You got a fishmonger, you got a car monger, and then it says a whoremonger. So a person that sells whores. So we know that today as pimps.
Yeah.
You know, pimps. You know, dude that got, you know, a flock of women that got them on the street selling their bodies. They getting destroyed. You know?
Yep.
The person that set up OnlyFans, they know what's going on OnlyFans. You know?
Alright. And sorcerers.
Sorcerers.
Yeah.
A sorcerer is a person that sells drugs. You know? Like when you look at sorcerers in like mystery, they got a particular name for that genre, but normally it's a witch. She has potions in the cauldron.
Yeah.
She's mixing it up, and you drink that potion, and you come under hypnosis and psychosis. So a sorcerer is people that use drugs or sells drugs. In fact, that Walgreens sign, it's a big witch pot. It's a cauldron with a thing to stir in there.
With 3 stars on the bottom.
With 3 stars in it. Yeah, so that's going into witchcraft.
Yep.
You know?
And to further support that, the word sorcerer, because see, people like, you know, they get thrown off by a lot of stuff, but you know, of course, you know, you got some forms of witchcraft that is, you know, the rituals and stuff, all right, but then you have the drug dealer, all right, and the word for sorcerer in the Greek that's written, that it's transliterated from, is the word Strong's G5332, pharmakias. All right, and what's that word translated to today? Pharmacy, man.
Yeah, pharmacy. Yeah.
You got rappers these days, the street pharmacy. Why?
Yeah.
Because they're selling drugs, man. The sorcerers.
There's a particular gang, clique or group or gang, whatever, in Atlanta, and their on their medallions is the RX.
Yeah.
What's that
Prescription.
RX represents?
Prescription.
Prescriptions.
Yeah.
You know?
Look what the definition says. From pharmacon, a drug, spell-giving potion, one who prepares or uses magical remedies, which, all that stuff is, they get it from the herbs and they just manipulate it with the left-hand side here to mess you up. That's why these people is all messed up out here, man.
Yeah, that's why when people go and get those prescription drugs, they just, you're trying to help one thing. You're trying to heal one thing, but the side effects starts affecting other things.
Yeah.
For a time I had, high blood pressure, which I believe I still do. And the stuff that they recommended for me to take, it said hair loss,
symptoms,
depression, all these different psychoses. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if you're trying to heal one thing, but this same medicine can enable all these other bad things to happen, why take it?
Man.
But then you'll take this medicine and you'll take this other medicine
to counteract that. Yeah.
So then now you just bugged out.
Yeah, the same applies like in the streets, with the crack cocaine. You even got this shit in Russia. Somewhere in that region, it's called crocodile. So that's what it's called, crocodile. They say if you put it on wrong, your fucking skin will fall off and you're just gonna be left with bare bone, man. Not skin, so like your flesh, your meat will eat away and you'll be left with bare bone.
Man.
That's why in the commercials at the end when they tell you what type of drug they had, what I'm saying, they skip through all the side effects real fast.
Well, what else? Was that it over there? We're gonna start wrapping it up in a minute.
Alright?
Yeah.
And idolaters.
An idolater, what is idolatry?
A person that worships idols.
Yeah, that's a person that worships idols. So you got people that wear crosses.
Yeah.
You got people that have like angels in their house.
Those shrines.
Candlesticks.
They got the Buddhas.
At the not the bodega, what they call it?
The Botanica.
The Botanica. You go there, they got all these candles, and then they got the, Jesus on the cross. All that is idolatry. That's idol worship. That's a sin. Man, that's the second commandment.
Yeah.
First commandment is love the Lord with all thy heart, and the second commandment is
thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt not have any other God before me. So those little idols, those are false gods.
You'll begin to trust in that idol more than the Most High.
Yeah, because it's tangible.
Yeah.
Because idol worship enables a carnal spirit. I gotta have this little cross in my pocket because if I don't have it, something's gonna. You got people that really think like that. We've had people that came up. Oh yeah, this cross, it protects me.
It saved me. Why should I throw it away? It saved me.
No, it's Yahweh Shai that saved. It's Yahweh Shai that is mighty to save, not some cross. Right. It can't even save itself. Mm-hmm. If somebody snatches it off his neck, that idol couldn't have saved itself from being snatched off.
He's gonna lose his faith. He's gonna lose his faith. I ain't got no more protection because he put his whole mind state into that one relic.
Now, brothers, we rock stones and different things, because we know that the Lord incorruptible spirit is in all things. Certain stones got vibrations to it. But we believe in a power that created that. And if it's of the Most High, he will put certain, vibrations on it and qualities on it to help brothers out with whatever they're dealing with. But we ain't wearing, bros got him. This brother's a crafter. He makes jewelry. But we not wearing it every day, every time it's camp because we believe that this gonna make us be better prophets. I'll wear this because it's gonna make me remember the precepts. Because at the end of the day, it's the Lord that channels His Spirit through us to bring out the counsel of the Lord, you know?
The Lord said, "You will not give yourself to idols."
Yeah. And we close out with that.
Isaiah
42:8.
Yeah. Isaiah 42:8. And it reads, it said, "I, the Lord Yahweh, that is my name. And my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images."
What is a graven image? Well, what does the word graven mean? It's something that's carved out. And that's what those idols are. Somebody, an artificer, carved that out.
Not a picture.
You know? Or you use the machine to do it. You know, but we're going to close out on this.
All right. And all liars shall have...
All liars, people that's producing fake doctrines. You know?
shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
The second death is going to be by way of thermonuclear destruction during World War III, as well as laser beams being shot out the aircrafts that the Lord is coming in. So, you know, Lord willing, this was an edifying camp. You know, we went into, you know, various doctrines that these people, you know, bring out to try to, you know, denounce the validity of the scripts. And we brought out the correct doctrine from the Spirit and truth. So, you know, Lord willing, you know, brothers edified. So we want to give all praises, glory and honor to Yahweh, double honors to our elders and apostles, great millstone that taught us the truth. And Baba Ball, Kwame Sha'ala, Shalom. Get a little love.